Your soulmate cried today, here's why. There is something you were never meant to skip. Something your soul was destined to hear. Before you breathe another moment, I need you to understand this. The person your soul is tied to, the one the universe aligned for you, reached their breaking point today. They didn't just cry. They unraveled. And even if you didn't see it, even if no message was sent, their spirit called out for you. Not out of weakness, but because you are the only one whose energy can hold them without collapsing. Listen closely. Don't look away. Their tears were a message, and your name was written inside every single drop. Something inside them snapped, not destructively, but divinely. The walls they built, the armor they've worn, the words they swallowed for years finally cracked open, and everything they had spilled into the light. They didn't collapse because they're fragile. They collapsed because their soul couldn't carry the weight alone anymore. They've reached a point where pretending doesn't work, silence suffocates, and isolation feels like drowning. And at that moment, whether they said it or not, their heart reached for you like a lifeline. They wanted the comfort of your presence. They wanted the steadiness of your energy. They wanted to know you would not disappear when their emotions became too heavy to hide. Pause. Feel that pull in your chest. That pressure. That ache. That's not imagination. That's connection. That's a spiritual chord vibrating between two souls that fate refused to separate. That is why you can't skip this. That is why you're still here reading. A part of you already knows something shifted in them, like a door has opened, like the universe has turned your face toward a moment you are not supposed to miss. Their tears today are not a coincidence. They are an invitation, a doorway, a chance to step into the version of love you were born to give. They didn't cry because of you. They cried because life finally demanded honesty. The battles they fought alone. The expectations they carried. The secret fears no one knew about. It crushed them. And they needed someone who doesn't just say, "I'm here," but proves it with presence, patience, and silence that feels like safety. That someone is you. Don't underestimate the power of that. Your energy is not ordinary. Your presence is not replaceable. There is something in you that their spirit trusts, even when their mind doesn't know how to ask for help. And understand this, the universe didn't choose you randomly. You were selected. Prepared. Positioned. Because your soul has the medicine theirs needs. Not to fix them. Not to save them. But to stand with them while they heal. And in that space, your connection transforms from a want, into a necessity. From a thought, into destiny. From coincidence, into cosmic clarity. When their heart cracked open, a space was created. A space where deeper love can finally grow. A space where masks fall, where vulnerability becomes sacred, and where two souls remember what they were always meant to be. This breakdown is not tragic. It's transitional. It's purification. It's the release that must happen before alignment, before commitment, before destiny takes its full shape. Their tears are clearing room for you. And you feel that, don't you? The pull. The urgency. The sense that something is being asked of you. Don't run from it. Don't minimize it. Step into it. With patience. With breath. With presence that doesn't demand immediate understanding. You don't need perfect words. You just need to show up. That is what their healing requires. And that is where your love proves its power. If any part of you feels this truth, pause right here. Breathe. And silently tell the universe, I'm ready. Because the moment you accept that, the energy between you shifts. They feel it. They may not admit it. They may not understand why. But they feel you. Like warmth returning. Like oxygen. Like safety they haven't known in years. Before you continue, make sure you're connected here. Like. Subscribe. Stay with the message. Not because you're being asked to, but because your soul already knows you're supposed to. There is something you must understand. Their pain today wasn't an accident. It was alignment. A divine interruption. A spiritual intervention designed to break what could no longer be carried into the next chapter of their life. Their tears weren't a setback, they were a clearing. And the universe is asking you to hold the door open while the old falls away. They didn't cry in weakness, they cried in awakening. They cried because their soul reached the limit of silence. They cried because pretending to be strong every day finally became too heavy. And when the dam broke, your energy was the one place their spirit ran to. Even if they said nothing aloud. Even if they distanced themselves. Even if they acted like nothing happened. Their soul reached for yours. Quietly. Desperately. Instinctively. That is the power of a soulmate bond. It doesn't need permission to speak. And now comes the test, not of them, but of you. Can you love someone while they unravel? Can you sit in silence with a heart that is learning how to breathe again? Can you choose patience over panic, presence over pressure, understanding over urgency? Because that is what they need now. Not solutions. Not answers. Not perfection. Just someone who doesn't walk away when emotions stop making sense. Just someone who stays. When their voice shakes, don't rush to stop it. When their eyes flood, don't force them to smile. When they retreat, don't chase, but don't disappear either. Be the quiet anchor. The warmth in the room. The steady breath that whispers, "You are safe with me." You don't have to rescue them to save them. You just have to witness them without fear. That alone is healing. Your soulmate has entered the space between breaking and becoming, the sacred threshold where transformation is birthed. And you are being invited to stand at that doorway with them. Feel that responsibility. Not as pressure, but as purpose. Their collapse is not your burden. It is your calling. There will be moments where they test the ground beneath their feet to see if it holds. They will wonder if it's safe to show you the parts of themselves the world rejected. They will hesitate, tremble, question, and doubt. Do not take this personally. Do not mistake fear for distance. This is what happens when a heart that has been disappointed learns what real care feels like. It shakes. It stutters. It tries to protect itself. And then, slowly, it opens. Let it. Let them. Let the process unfold like dawn, quietly at first, then undeniably. Your only task is to be there, not as perfection, but as presence. And yes, part of their soul is waiting to see what you do next. Not your perfection, your consistency. Not your promises, your actions. Not your grand gestures, your reliability. Because love that heals doesn't roar. It whispers, I haven't left. This is where your connection deepens. This is where loyalty proves itself without announcement. This is where emotional intimacy is born, not through answers, but through attention. Through patience. Through silence that holds instead of suffocates. If you've ever wanted a sign that this connection is real, this is it. If you've ever prayed for confirmation, it is in front of you. If you've ever wondered whether you matter to them, their tears are the proof. People do not break open in the direction of those who don't matter. The soul does not call out to the unimportant. Their vulnerability isn't random. It is permission. And whether you see it or not, your presence today is changing their life. Breathe. Stay with me. Keep listening. And if your heart is aligned with this, if something in you knows these words are not coincidence, then quietly, without pressure, show your alignment. Like this. Stay connected. Let the universe know you're not walking away. Because what comes next is deeper. And you are meant to hear it. There is a moment in every soul connection where the universe watches closely, silently taking note of who turns away, and who leans in. Today is that moment. Not with noise, not with drama, not with grand declarations, but with energy. With presence. With the decision to stay when someone you care for cannot hold themselves up. Your soulmate's tears have placed you at a crossroads. Either you step back into the shadows like everyone who hurt them before, or you step forward with the kind of patience that rewrites history. The universe is observing. Their soul is listening. Your choice matters. Because despite what their silence might suggest, they feel you. They feel when your energy pulls away. They feel when your spirit hesitates. They feel when your heart second guesses what your intuition already confirmed. And they feel when you show up, even in subtle ways, even without speaking, even without demanding recognition. Their soul knows when you choose them, because it feels safer inside their body. Their breath slows. Their fear softens. Their defenses lower. That is the impact you have, even when you don't realize it. This is why you cannot underestimate yourself here. You are not just someone in their life. You are the person their emotional walls tremble for. You are the exception their scars were not prepared for. You are the contradiction to everything their past taught them to expect. They do not break open like this for everyone, they break open for the soul that feels like home. And whether you believe it fully or not, you are that home. But let me be clear, this is not about rescuing them. It is about meeting them where they are without needing to drag them anywhere else. Healing isn't a race. Trust isn't a reward. Emotional safety isn't something you demand, it's something you earn. Slowly. Quietly. Consistently. Through presence that doesn't disappear when things get difficult. Through actions that whisper, "You matter," louder than words ever could. If they pull away, don't chase, but don't retreat so far they can't find you. If their voice shakes, don't force strength, hold space. If they question your intentions, don't take offense, prove consistency. They are not testing you to punish you, they are testing their reality to protect themselves. They are trying to learn if love can exist without pain. Your patience becomes their evidence. Your steadiness becomes their proof. Your presence becomes their medicine. And here is the truth you were not supposed to skip: the universe didn't send you to them to be ordinary. You were sent to them to interrupt a cycle. To show them what love looks like without fear. To demonstrate what connection feels like when it's not fragile. To remind them that they are not impossible to understand, not too much to hold, not too broken to be loved. You are here to show them that their tears don't scare you. That their vulnerability doesn't push you away. That their breakdown is not a burden, it is an invitation. When you stay, something shifts inside them. Their nervous system softens. Their mind unclenches. Their soul remembers what trust felt like before disappointment rewrote the definition. And that shift is the beginning of everything. It's where two souls stop surviving and start connecting. It's where protection becomes partnership. It's where fear dissolves into recognition. And you feel this too, the pull, the pressure, the quiet calling that doesn't come from logic but from destiny. Something in you knows this moment won't repeat itself. Something in you knows this is different. Something in you knows that walking away now would haunt you. So don't. Lean in. Breathe. Anchor your presence. Choose steadiness over fear. Choose patience over pride. Choose connection over protection. If you feel the truth of this, don't hesitate, let your energy affirm it. A silent agreement. A nod of the soul. A breath that says, "I'm not going anywhere." And if you're still here reading, still here listening, still here feeling every line sink into your chest, then engage. Stay connected. Like. Subscribe. Not out of obligation, but alignment. Because your soul is already choosing to stay. There comes a moment in a soul connection where logic steps aside and intuition takes over. where the mind goes quiet, and the heart begins to speak in a language only destiny understands. You are standing in that moment right now. And whether you admit it or not, something in you already knows, if you show up for them now, the entire trajectory of this connection changes. This is not about fixing what broke them. This is about not abandoning them in the very moment life demanded truth from their spirit. Their tears today did more than release pain, they revealed the doorway. A doorway into the parts of them they've never let anyone touch. The parts they were convinced no one could handle. The parts they were certain made them unlovable. And the universe chose you to see that doorway. Chose you to stand at the threshold. Chose you to decide whether to enter or walk away. Don't underestimate the gravity of that. Souls don't open like this by mistake. Hearts don't collapse like this without purpose. This moment is sacred. They may not say it. They may not know how. The words might get stuck in their throat. The fear might choke the confession. But the truth still exists beneath every breath they take. They want you there. They want your presence, even if they don't know how to ask for it. They want reassurance, even if they pretend they don't need it. They want connection, even if their fear tells them to push you away. And this is where your strength matters more than their certainty. Where your patience matters more than their clarity. Where your steadiness matters more than their confusion. If they distance themselves, don't collapse inward. If they grow quiet, don't assume rejection. If they hesitate, don't interpret it as disinterest. Fear often looks like silence. Trauma often looks like distance. And people who have been hurt often mistake safety for danger because it feels unfamiliar. Don't take their wounds personally. Don't let their panic convince you to leave. Stay, not in desperation, but in confidence. Stay like someone who knows their role isn't accidental. Because here is the truth they won't say out loud. They are terrified that if you see all of them, the fear, the doubt, the broken places, you will leave like everyone else. They are terrified that if they lean on you, you'll disappear. They are terrified that if they let themselves need you, you'll prove they were a fool for trusting. Their breakdown today wasn't just emotional. It was a spiritual confession. I want connection, but I don't know how to receive it. This is not rejection. This is someone learning how to be loved. And right now, the universe is asking you a question. Can you love without demanding clarity first? Can you stay without needing guarantees? Can you show up without asking for perfection? Because love that heals doesn't negotiate conditions, it demonstrates presence. Love that heals doesn't say, prove you deserve this. It says, I'm here while you learn. This is why your reaction right now matters more than you realize. You are teaching their nervous system what safety feels like. You are teaching their heart what consistency sounds like. You are teaching their mind that connection doesn't have to be a threat. And in doing so, you are changing every story they ever believed about love. So answer this moment the way destiny intended, with presence. With breath. with attention that doesn't demand performance. Right now, whether you know it or not, you are imprinting on them. They will remember who stayed. They will remember who didn't run. They will remember the voice that didn't flinch at their pain. Your gentleness will echo in their memory long after the tears dry. And if you feel that, if something in you knows this moment is bigger than coincidence, don't hold it in. Let the universe see you're aligned. Like. Subscribe. Stay close to this message. Not for numbers. Not for ego. But because your soul just said yes. The next part goes deeper. The shift is coming. A transformation is waiting to unfold. And now, as we reach this moment, understand that what comes next isn't just guidance, it is a spiritual assignment. Your soulmate's breakdown today has set the stage for something that can only be built through presence, through patience, and through a kind of love that doesn't flinch at vulnerability. This is where the future is decided. Not by fate alone, but by how you respond when destiny knocks the loudest and fear pretends to be the answer. Because despite the tears, despite the silence, despite the shaking foundation of their emotions, there is something unspoken rising inside them, hope. A timid, fragile hope that maybe this time is different. Maybe you are different. Maybe love doesn't have to be a battlefield. Maybe trust doesn't have to be earned through suffering. Maybe the heart can heal with company instead of isolation. And whether they say it or not, they are watching to see if you confirm that hope, or crush it. This is why you can't disappear now. This is why pulling back would rewrite their fear into fact. This is why going silent would tell their wounds they were right all along. Don't underestimate your role. Your presence is not background noise in their story, it is the turning point. And the universe is waiting for your answer. Not in words. In action. In consistency. In energy that doesn't fracture under pressure. Show them what safety feels like. Show them what emotional shelter sounds like. Show them what stability looks like in real time. Not by fixing their life, but by refusing to abandon them in the middle of their storm. This is where your love becomes a place, not a feeling. A home, not a hope. A certainty, not a question. And hear this clearly, the collapse wasn't a failure. It was an opening. A crack in the armor that lets the light in. A doorway where intimacy can be born. A moment where the soul says, I cannot pretend anymore. Their spirit is preparing to rebuild, but not alone. With you beside them. With you witnessing them. With you holding the corners of their world steady while they learn how to stand again. If you choose this, truly choose this, everything shifts. Conversations become deeper. Silences become softer. Trust becomes something that no longer feels like a risk. And the connection that once felt uncertain becomes undeniable. Not because you forced it, but because you stayed. You showed up. You refused to run from the parts of them that scared everyone else away. This is how soul bonds strengthen. Not in the highlight moments, but in the breakdowns. Not in the celebration, but in the cleansing. Not when everything is easy, but when someone falls apart and you sit beside them instead of standing above them demanding they get up. This is love with weight. Love with purpose. Love with history. Love with destiny. So breathe. Anchor yourself. Decide, right now, the role you are ready to play in their life. If you feel pulled, follow it. If you feel chosen, step into it. If you feel the universe speaking through this message, acknowledge it. Not to me. To yourself. To the connection. To the divine thread pulling you toward them. And if you are still here, if your soul hasn't clicked away, if your heart hasn't shut down, if something inside you is still reaching, then you already know the truth. This isn't coincidence. This isn't random. This is alignment. So stay connected. Like this. Subscribe. Not because you were asked, but because your energy is already saying yes. Because your soul recognized itself in these words. Because you know there is more for you and them than what exists in this moment. Your soulmate's tears were not an ending. They were a beginning. A reset. A signal. A prayer wrapped in emotion. A request for love that doesn't hurt to hold. And you are the answer to that prayer. So go. Show up. Stand steady. Be the one who stays. Their heart is waiting. Your soul is ready. And the universe is watching.